Hello and welcome to the Ithaca College 2020 Commencement Celebration for the School of Business. My name is Adam French and I'm a 2020 graduate and a business administration major from Syracuse, New York. Every year we begin the Ithaca College Commencement Ceremony with a fanfare that is composed by a senior from the School of Music. This year the composer is Leon Yu and the piece being performed by 8 School of Music students is called the Hindsight Fanfare. Now, let's welcome Leon Yu along with the School of Music students as they perform Hindsight Fanfare.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alka Brahmarkar, and I'm the interim dean of the School of Business. And I'm pleased to share a few words with you today. Welcome, 2020 graduates, and thank you for attending. And thank you to graduates who might be watching later. Welcome also to family and friends who are sharing this significant day with us. If there's a single word to define the accomplishments of this class, it would be resiliency. At the start of the spring semester, none of us expected that we would soon be engulfed in one of the greatest health challenges of our time. This pandemic has asked much of us, and it has asked much of our students in particular. It asks for flexibility in how and when we learn together. It asks for separation from routine and companionship of our classmate. It asks for patience as new protocols are put in place. This class has risen to the particular demands of this unusual year. Some might feel saddened by the many losses of ending 4 years of hard work in this unexpected way. However, I like to think of all that's happening as yet another lesson to serve us today and well into the future. Being prepared for the uncertainty of the post-undergraduate world is essential. This transition to the next chapter of your life requires a combination of strength, creativity, and compassion, all of which I have witnessed from this class. While it is true that the pandemic has presented many challenges for us, it is also a springboard from which you can continue to learn and thrive. The uncertainties we face also enable us to test the limits of our own ability to navigate change. It is okay not to have all the answers. You can rely on what you have prepared for in the past 4 years to help you ask the right questions. I will long remember the strength and commitment of this class. Congratulations on your great achievement. Now, I would like to introduce Sean Reed, our dean for the last 4 years of your time at Ithaca College, and invite him to the screen to share his thoughts.
Thank you, Alka, and congratulations to the class of 2020 from the Ithaca College School of Business. I really appreciate being given the opportunity to share a minute or two with you for the class of 2020. Very special class to me. You were the first class that I helped recruit. I got to meet many of you and your parents and families and while you were still in high school, and then really got to watch you grow over the 4 years that we were here together at Ithaca College. I'm moving on to the next opportunity, just like all of you are moving on to the next opportunity. It's been a very crazy spring semester, and I know that you'll rise to the challenge the same way you did all the other challenges over the past 4 years. It's been an honor and a privilege to get to know and work with you. I wish you nothing but the best in the future. Please stay in touch, and if there's ever anything I can do to help, don't hesitate to reach out. Congratulations again, and go Bombers. Now, at this point, I'm pleased to introduce our next speaker, Gabby Pica, the 2019-2020 Senior Class President. Gabby's from Carmel, New York, and an integrated marketing communications major, who was involved in numerous campus activities during her 4 years, including food security initiatives, the Students' Governance Council, Habitat for Humanity, and the senior class. Welcome, Gabby.
Senior year was never supposed to be easy, especially second semester. Many of us entered this year telling ourselves, this is my year to graduate. Feelings of excitement for having a few more months with friends and classmates, but also feelings of anxiety for having to find a job, relocating, and starting a new chapter in our lives. This year was already a major time of uncertainty for many of us. Then, March 17th, or Doomsday, hit. The day we received the email that Ithaca College would be remote for the rest of the semester. Instead of celebrating my Irish heritage that day, I found myself crying in bed with overwhelming feelings of loss and devastation that the final moments of my senior year were gone. The spring semester of senior year is usually a time to bask in your hard work and celebrate all your accomplishments. It is a time filled with lasts and goodbyes with close friends and peers. The more I began to think about what was taken from me, the more my sadness turned into anger. I began to ask myself, why me? Why my year of all years? As I calmed down, I recognized that I believed the universe would never give a challenge to someone who couldn't handle it. And I began to realize the many obstacles that the class of 2020 has already overcome. Many of us started our education in September 2001 with one of the largest tragedies our country has ever seen. We came to campus in the fall of 2016, where both our campus and country were undergoing major controversial administration changes. Since we began our time on campus, we lost a professor, Suji Gage, and my dear friend, Jace Barak. At this time, I would like to take a moment of silence to remember the lives lost, as well as to remember family, friends, and others whose lives were lost since our college careers began. In addition to these major challenges that our class faced, there are also many individual battles and struggles fought. Many call our generation lazy and entitled, but I believe the class of 2020 is resilient and adaptive. We have withstood tragedies, loss, and struggles, and yet we still continue to fight. We are starting our lives at the forefront of change in this world. Our class will continue to have the strong will and grit to shape this world into one that is fair and just for all. We will continue to let adversity drive our passion and fuel our souls. Class of 2020, the future is still uncertain, but we should take comfort and pride in all that we have been through and know that we can continue to be strong through the many challenges we will continue to see. I am proud to be a part of the class of 2020, especially the Ithaca College class of 2020. Although our time at IC was cut short, I am beyond grateful for the time that I did have and hope that you look back at your time at IC with gratitude and joy as well. I can't wait to see you all again in June for our first alumni weekend. I want to thank my family, housemates, friends, boyfriend, executive board, mentors, and professors for the unconditional love and support throughout this journey. Congrats, graduates. We are class of 2020 strong.
In this piece, Premium Blend, Ithaca and Voice Stream come together to highlight the class of 2020. The tribute recognizes the senior class and its strong determination and resilience through adversity. Singing Determinate from one of the most beloved Disney Channel original movies of our time, Lemonade Mouth. Enjoy.
Trying hard to fight these tears, I'm crazy worried, messing with my head this fear, I'm so sorry, you know I gotta get it out, I can't take one, and I'm heaven sent. Music is better than renegade, lemonade. Music is my medicine. Go ahead and try to name a band. Me and better than every reason on the whole world. Picking us instead of them. People need to breathe because they feel that adrenaline stop. Now hurry up and let us in now. Cause they come into your house and people smile like the lemons on your mouth on the real deal. You know how it feels when they're in it for the mill. I'm just in for the thrill. Get down now. I ain't play around, get your feet off the ground and play that stuff like, oh, got to turn the world into your dance floor. Determinate, push until you can and then demand more. Determinate, you and me
Hello all, I'm Ryan Harder from the School of Business, a proud member of the Ithaca College Class of 2020 and a Business Administration major from Rochester, New York. Thank you to our very own premium blend, Ithaca and Voice Stream. What a beautiful performance. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Shirley M. Criado, the 9th president of Ithaca College.
Greetings, class of 2020 and our beloved IC families. It is my great pleasure to share this moment with you. A moment that celebrates not only an incredible milestone in your lives, but the strength, determination, and resilience that the class of 2020 has demonstrated during a truly unbelievable time. I know that your senior year was turned upside down, and I know how much you've lost. But I also know how strong the class of 2020 is, how tenacious you are, and how all that you've gone through this year will serve as a touchstone of courage for the rest of your lives. You know what perseverance looks like. You've lived it. You know how to walk through difficulty with grace and fortitude, and I am truly inspired by you. As part of today's celebration, each member of your class received a box of goodies from the college. In this box is your class of 2020 medallion with a quote from Frederick Douglass, one of the most courageous and bold leaders in our nation's history. I selected the quote in January, well before this global public health crisis, and well before the rise of activism against the sobering and very real legacy of racial injustice in America. Douglass's quote resonates deeply for me today, particularly as I think about this class and the reality that we are in. Douglass reminds us to keep optimism alive, even in the darkest times, to presume and to expect the very best of others, to not only remember our humanity, but to act on it. I look forward to seeing how you will live out these words in the coming years, and how your IC experience will help you find your place in this changing world. This year, as part of Ithaca College's 125th commencement, we are proud to honor 3 outstanding people, individuals whom I hope you will get much inspiration from as you build towards your future. Cindy Berger, class of 1983, who is not only our commencement speaker, but one of this year's honorary degree recipients. She's the chairman of RNC PMK, an international public relations and marketing firm. Cindy has demonstrated such courage and drive as she's worked towards her current leadership role after beginning her career with the company as a receptionist shortly after her graduation from Ithaca College. Bill McKibben, an environmental powerhouse who has shaped public opinion and public action on climate change, alternative energy, and the need for more localized economies. Today, we celebrate Bill as an honorary degree recipient and acknowledge his visionary leadership.
Hello, graduates. I wish I could tell you that you are graduating into an easy world where you have no problems. Obviously, you know that's not the case. This is a moment of rare stress for our civilizations. And the crises that we face, the climate crisis, most overarching of them all, will follow you your whole lives. But that also means that You graduate into a moment when you are desperately needed, when your skills, your talents, your commitment, your urgency are required. That's a burden, but it's also a privilege and an honor. And it's an honor for me to get to say to you, congratulations on this great day.
And we recognize Beverly Baker, class of 1954, with this year's Presidential Medal, which honors significant contributions to our college and to Ithaca. Beverly is a pillar of our community and has shown her deep and lasting investment in IC through her tremendous support of our students and the arts. Beverly, Bill, and Cindy have found ways to walk through challenge and thrive. I hope that their lives inspire you as you build your futures. Class of 2020, congratulations on graduating from Ithaca College. Each and every one of you have shown us the very best of IC. And I promise you, we will never forget you.
Hi, Ryan Harder again. Thank you, President Toyato. I'm very honored to now introduce our commencement speaker, Cindy Berger, an alumna from the class of 1983 and a major force in the communications industry. I'm thrilled that Cindy is a part of our celebration today, and I look forward to her words of support for our class of 2020.
To the class of 2020, this is such a momentous occasion, and I'm honored to be here sharing it with all of you. A special thank you to President Toyato, Professor Gajewski, and of course to all of you, the class of 2020. As you know, I'm an Ithaca grad myself, so this is even more exciting for me. For alums, it's kind of a standard thing to talk about how different everything was back when we were in college. And it's true, a lot of things were different. No cell phones, no Google. I finished my final papers on a typewriter, and the IC Bombers were the NCAA Division III champions in football. Your commencement and your entire senior year are not what you expected. That bitter Ithaca winter was supposed to give way to a senior spring. Instead, you were sent home abruptly, no goodbyes, no chance to jump into the Dillingham Fountain or picnic at Buttermilk Falls. Commencement has always been a little scary, a little uncertain, and an incredible rite of passage. Some lucky grads may have a job lined up. I wasn't one of those grads. Believe it or not, my career path started one day this summer after graduation when I was lying in a friend's pool reading Cosmopolitan magazine, and there was an article about celebrity publicists. I said to my friend, I love movies, music, entertainment. I think this is the career for me. And that was it. I took my resume, drove into Manhattan, and dropped it off at 2 different PR firms, Rogers & Cowan and PMK. Today, more than 30 years later, I'm the chairman of both of those firms. Now it's actually one. I merged them last year. I know that today, every element of that story sounds like distant history. Floating in the pool next to a friend, going into the city, walking into an office building that isn't deserted, riding the elevator with strangers, starting a new job, all of it. It's hard, impossible to do these things when you're sheltering in place. And yet, if there's any generation that can maneuver that distance, it's yours. Okay, perhaps Zoom wasn't your app of choice, probably still isn't, but you understand better than anyone how to use social media to connect, how to stay in touch, get in touch, to organize, inform, to combat hate and spread joy. If there's anything I've learned from my career, it's that relationships, real, meaningful relationships, are grounded in a simple principle, a principle that I learned not at my job, but in my high school geometry class. It's probably the only thing that I remember from geometry, that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Yes, I mean that figuratively. Often, The shortest distance, the closest connection comes from being direct and honest, from trusting that others are telling the truth, from avoiding gossip or hearsay, and going straight to the source. Don't get me wrong, social media is great for connecting, but there's a huge difference between connecting with someone and building a connection with them. The problem is it's hard to do that in 280 characters or less. More often than not, to build connection, it takes personal face-to-face interaction. I'm lucky. When I got into the communications business in my earliest days on the job, I was privileged to meet and talk to so many people. I remember as the receptionist striking up a conversation with tennis legend Billie Jean King. What began as small talk 30 years ago is now a trusted client relationship and a meaningful friendship. The same can be said about my friend Jeff. 30 years ago, Jeff was a young, up-and-coming producer at the Today Show. Long story short, Jeff had a fight with someone at my firm, and as a result, banned all of our clients from appearing on the Today Show. Not an auspicious start to a friendship. As a publicist, I needed my clients on the Today Show, and Jeff and I weren't getting anywhere on the telephone. So I got up from my desk, walked over to his office at 30 Rock, and the two of us hashed it out. Needless to say, I got my clients on the Today Show. And 30 years later, Jeff is still a close friend. He is also, by the way, Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN Worldwide and chairman of Warner Media News and Sports. The takeaway here is that building a connection with someone is not easy. It takes time, energy, and an investment. Yes, texting is easier and faster, but it doesn't replace personal connectivity. I think about another longtime client, Sean Combs. You might know him as Puff or Diddy. What you might not know is that he's also a passionate activist. A few weeks ago, during the first wave of nationwide protests against police brutality, Sean learned about a woman named Miss Opal Lee. Miss Opal is 93. When she was 12, her house in Fort Worth, Texas was burned down by white supremacists. When she turned 89, she walked from her hometown in Fort Worth to Washington, D.C. in an effort to make Juneteenth a national holiday. In the 4 years since that journey, history has finally started to catch up to Miss Opal, and Sean knew he could accelerate that process. So he picked up the phone and called her. He asked about her remarkable story and tireless work. She needed 100,000 signatures on her petition to try to get Juneteenth to be made a national holiday. That was her goal. Sean could have just tweeted about the petition and left it at that, and that would have helped. But in his words, he wasn't looking for just a hashtag. He wanted to hear Miss Opal's story directly from her, so he could pass it along to the next generation. In the days that followed, he got to work, hosting a conversation with Miss Opal on his Instagram, partnering with friends in the industry to share her story, and on June 22nd, he called Miss Opal back to share the news with her that the petition had received not 100,000 signatures, but 1 million signatures. Sean wanted to build a relationship, and I'm willing to bet that relationship will continue to grow and evolve and keep inspiring him and others to create lasting social change. Maybe you don't have as many followers as Puff, but what you do have is the power to use your platform for good. As you go out into the world, whether it's a new city or your old bedroom, use it. Be smart, be thoughtful, make us laugh with your dance moves, inspire us with your words, and then pick up the phone and call. Call that friend who needs a cheerleader, that person whose cause needs elevating, the family who has loved you your entire life, the professors who taught you the last 4 years, that company you'd love to work for, That's how you build a network of friends, and do it with honesty and integrity, because at the end of the day, that's what matters most. And remember, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Congratulations, class of 2020. You did it.
My name is Aisha May Mughal, and on behalf of the Ithaca College Class of 2020, I want to thank both President Collado and Ms. Berger for taking time to be with us today. We will hold your words close to us as we navigate this new chapter of our lives and find our purpose as young adults and global citizens. The next part of our program will focus on our amazing class of 2020 graduates, who will be called to the screen one by one. Fellow alumni, please continue to wait until you are instructed by one of our co-hosts to turn on your camera. Guests who are viewing this ceremony, please know that the graduates will be called to the screen in random order, and we encourage you to utilize the live stream ability to clap for and celebrate the class of 2020 while they are on the screen. And now, here are your class of 2020 Ithaca College graduates.
everybody. My name is John Neeson. I'm a class of 1984 graduate. I'm the person who helped create the business analytics and digital marketing lab, and I wanted to just come and say congratulations to all of you. You're about to embark on an incredible business career, and you will write a new chapter in your life, and you'll also, as future business leaders, write a new chapter for American business. No other class, hopefully, will have dealt with the adversity that you've had to deal with. And as you write the future of American business, you will find it does not fit nicely and neatly into a container of the past. You will have to create a new one. But I am so confident that what you're going to create will dazzle us. You are from Ithaca College. It means that you tackle adversity as if it's an opportunity. You never, ever give up. You're creative and innovative, and you live your life with purpose. I want to wish all of you the best of luck, and go Bombers. Congratulations.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Canner, CEO of DEC Management, class of 1995. Wow. Who would have thought your year would end like this? Social distancing, quarantine, being locked down for months, wearing a mask. The circumstances were unusual, but it's the ones who rise through the challenges that succeed. The way you respond to adversity is what shows your true character. You're in a position right now to give yourself an opportunity to learn as much as you can and find out ways to change the world. We need you. You're our hope, our future. The ideas, creativity, concepts, and businesses that you come up with and develop will be the next Apple, the next Google, the next Amazons, and for sports agents like me, maybe the next Dallas Cowboys. It's my wish to all of you to keep pursuing your dreams. Never give up. Keep fighting. When you get knocked down, roll with the punches. Uncertainty is the only certain part of life. Keep tackling challenges. Put your best foot forward to change this world. And congratulations, class of 2020. The best is yet to come. Go Bombers!
As we close out this celebration, it's confetti time, class of 2020. I want you to join me and get your confetti. Thank you for enriching our campus and our town. And I hope to have an opportunity to see you again right here on South Hill. Class of 2020, congratulations.
good for me.